Alright, hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking about the Blade of the House of Spiders, Ryōshū. This character is ridiculously broken. Everyone should probably go and pull for her. She is the capstone ID and she is ridiculously strong. Ridiculously. Right, so let's talk about certain things first. First off, this character is designed based on the Library of Ruinas Mountain of Corpses style of play. That means you kill your friends and your friends are usually weaker than you, and you eat their action slots, you eat their stats, you become very, very strong because of that, right? This Ryōshū is designed like that. You are meant to kill off your friends. Let's look at the passives first of all. String Severance. For every Nurse Father that you kill, you take less damage. Amazing. Right? Entanglement is a unique charge effect, although it doesn't say unique charge, okay? It's not charge ego gift related. I'm just calling it that because it's technically a charge mechanic for her. You gain entanglement by bringing the House of Spiders gang. You use the House of Spiders gang as meat shields, so you do not even take damage, and you cannot die one time. And for every ally that you kill, House of Spiders related, you will gain more entanglement and you will gain specific buffs, like Yi Sang giving you more unbreakable coin damage. Dawn gives you more poise potency gain and sinking count application. Then Middle Apprentice Ishmael gives you burn potency increase, defense level up. Nurse Father Honglu gives you something crazy. It gives you more speed and clashing power and more damage, which is crazy. Faust gives you a permanent shield every single turn, and Sinclair will give you poise count and crit damage up, which is lovely. We love extra 10% damage. However, Sinclair has a specific passive. He will die last. So take note of that. Alright, it will take a while to go and get to Sinclair and kill him. So Sinclair will just observe as you kill everyone and then accept his fate as he dies. Right? So when you kill off your friends here, you're gaining more action slots. So every 3 you kill, you get +1 skill slot. So very good. You cannot break the game. That's essentially what this line here is. You cannot break the game. We cannot give you more skill slots beyond the maximum skill slot cap. But for certain content, we can. So that's basically what this is. It's basically saying, hey, if the skill slots don't look correct, it's just because we don't want Ryōshū to be too ridiculously OP for this content. Alright? But she's stupidly broken anyway. Right? The ID only counts as an ID that applies burn, bleed, and poise, meaning you can use her in Mirror Dungeon and use any of these egos that gives you like haste, more damage when you apply burn, more damage when you apply bleed, blah blah blah. Right? So you can stack all the beautiful ego gifts on this character, making her ridiculously strong, and also opens up avenues in the future for her to be in a hybridized ego gift kind of team, where you run maybe 5 bleed and poise hybrids, and all of them will be able to benefit from Lucky Pouch as well as the bloody something, I can't remember the name, right? But basically, you will be able to potentially open up a lot of team building options for Mirror Dungeons later on, right? You also change music, which is cool. And this one is the index mechanic. Phantom Trace, you apply it onto a random enemy, you hit that guy, and you do a bunch of extra stuff. When you use your skill 2 here, it will use this when you hit a Phantom Trace target. If there are multiple, you will AoE them, and you will destroy the Phantom Trace afterwards, and you will also inflict Blade Trail after images to them. This is important because this is basically your special charge count mechanic as well. You have 2 charge mechanics. You have Entanglement and you have Tihui Star Blade mechanic, right? So these are the 2 ways to gain your charge count specifically, right? And for this one over here, on base attack skills that hit the Phantom Trace target, you will be able to convert it to Unbreakables and gain Final Power +1 and gain Entanglement once per turn. So this is one of the ways that you can scale. So following what the index says, haha, the Phantom Trace is very, very good for you. Right, moving on, we have the Tihui Star, which is your charge count mechanic. You can get up to 70 stacks of this. Every time you apply Blade Trail stacks, you gain the amount as a stack of Tihui Star. You gain up to 25 stacks per turn here. And once you get 50, you are starting to shit out skill trees. That is the very, very broken part about this character. Your skill trees enter your hand. Replace a base skill with Rend Space Echo Shear. So they literally replace your skill 1s and skill 2s to allow you to spam skill trees, letting you become a skill tree dispenser character. Right? For the first time you get 50, you activate 3-3. Subsequently, you activate 3-2. That's how this Tihui Star mechanic works. And to furthermore buff your gains of charge count, they made it so that when you crit using base attack skills, you will inflict 1 additional Blade Trail after image. You also deal more damage for every surplus poise past 20 poise on yourself. So the notable thing here is that they wrote here, if you use the Tricolor Cosm Ryōshū Ego, the passive works when you kill your allies. What that is, for those who don't know, is that you gain, additional crit damage up every time you stagger or kill an enemy. But your allies are your enemy in this case. So that's what that ego is allowing you to do. right? This passive allows you to basically pop your allies and kill them and get additional crit damage up from the E.G.O. So it's a bit of a match made in heaven kind of shit. Alright, after that, that's all the passives. Let's talk about the rest of the skills. The most important mechanic for this character is not any of the base skills. The base skills are like whatever. They don't have any awesome mechanics related to them, right? But this one, the skill 1-2 is the most important one. Tiansha, Slay the Heavens, right? This skill is very, very strong. You pop the defense skill, Phantom Steps. This will let you target one of the House of Spiders with the lattermost deployment order, means later, alright? And at 1+ String Severance, you will target one additional ally. And once that guy, or whatever, has used the skill, or has been staggered, or has used everything that he wanted to use, or she has wanted to use for that turn, you will kill her. And then after you kill her, you will get a bunch of buffs like the passive said. How does Slay the Heavens 1 coin 16+2 kill? If you scroll down, 120% HP damage as fixed damage. I love the text, by the way. Spit. How does that saying go again? You gotta venerate your parents like you venerate the very heavens. Except that this skill is a literal kill your parents kind of skill. So this is really ridiculously strong. Alright, for killing your friends. And also gives you 20 blade trails just by killing them. Alright, if you happen to crit on this, you can also get +1 more, but that's not relevant. Alright. Other things that you get for killing your family is you heal SP, which is very fucked up. You also gain Entangled Life, which gives you more damage, so you're basically killing your family to get yourself stronger. And you also lose 1 offense level, but gain 1 base power for this unit's attack. This is super worth, so you should always kill 4 people at least every single fight. And then after that, you also make it so your family cannot lose sanity when you have killed one of them. So you have suppressed their depression, essentially. They cannot be sad when this happens over here. Notably, something else that's cool is that this character will increase sanity by 10 if an ally is defeated. Oh my god, this is so diabolical, by the way. Like, this character literally farms sanity by killing off her friends. So this is really, really diabolical. Alright, after that, skill 2, you know it already for this one. Skill 3, now this is the fun part. So you are a skill tree dispenser as we have established. What is the first skill tree you will use when you get 50 stacks is the string connection. You will activate Shin. Shin gives you more speed, more poise and poise count, more damage, less damage taken, remove first stagger threshold, 5 AoE. It's not going to do insane damage. It is more to prepare for subsequent rounds. Subsequent rounds, we unleash the True Demon, the Ren Space Echo Shear. Attack weight of 3, but for every nurse father that you've killed, gain +1 more coin number 1. Holy shit. Reuse coin on this character. You lose 1 base power, oh no, but remember, you kill 4 nurse fathers, you get +1 base power. Holy shit. Alright, you also get final coin power for every entanglement on yourself, and at the end of the attack, you will raise entanglement's minimum and maximum stack cap by 1, and you reset it back to 2. So you can, on longer fights, just scale harder, basically. Right? And then over here, deal more damage on crit, eat all the blade trails on the target, and then deal slash damage equal to entanglement. But it's maximum stacks of 100. How do I apply so many blade trails? You have 4 coins when you kill all your nurse fathers. That's the intention. So your 4 attacks will inflict blade trails, then you use the skill tree over here to eat all of those blade trails that you've applied. It's every 2 turns once you have hit a certain level of strength. Once you have done that, once you have multiple slots of actions, you will get 25 blade trails every single turn, and you will eat it every other turn. So you become ridiculously strong in terms of output. Right? You also deal slash damage equal to entanglement times 4%. Oh my god. Ridiculously strong damage output. Kill all your friends, get stronger, get happier. You love it when your friends die. Crazy, crazy mountain of corpses R unit over here. Alright, so that is how this Ryōshū is played. That is how this Ryōshū functions. Right? The E.G.Os that you want to slap with this character to maximize her power level is clearly the newest Uptide 5 4th Match Flame. This is the classic example of here's the W engine for the unit that we release from a Hoyoverse game. Here is the card for this new unit they're releasing for this specific team. That is what this E.G.O is. Alright, this E.G.O basically deals more damage for every 1 sum of burn on all targets, which is very nice for nuking a bunch of enemies in a burn team. But the main point of this E.G.O is really the passive. Every fourth skill you use will now gain final power +4 and inflict 4 burn on hit. If the skill is Wrath, deal burn potency on all targets, additional damage. But if the E.G.O, if it's an E.G.O, you will get, if it's positive, heal 10 SP. Oh, that's beautiful. But if it's a minus coin, you will lose 15 SP instead. And this cannot corrode you. So that is very, very awesome because it will help to maximize the coin rolls of your other E.G.O, right? The other E.G.O in question is your Tricologism. Tricologism is going to be extremely valuable for this Ryōshū because if you have killed all of your friends, how do you kill huge waves of enemies? By using the E.G.O, because this E.G.O is paid for by Wrath and Lust and Pride. Super easy for Ryōshū. Literally is all three of our elements, right? And other than that, you also gain poise and poise count, you gain entangled life, you lose 10 SP, blah blah blah, who cares, right? But you unleash a humongous nuke 3-coiner onto everyone, you get coin power +5 for the final coin on crit of the second coin, and this thing here eats all entangled life on yourself and deals +1% damage for every 5 entangled life consumed. And this is doubled if it's a single target attack. So let's say you already have enough blade trails, you can actually sacrifice 1 slot just to do more damage with the Great Tricologism. That's how powerful this thing is. Remember, you have 4 actions per turn, meaning in a singular turn, you can legit get the 4th attack to come out every single turn. As long as it's Wrath, it will do 1 billion damage. That's how the 4th match flame works. And then for the corroded effect over here, you can also use this part here because you consume a surplus poise to heal yourself and deal more damage, and then you gain more poise count. And at 999 entangled life, you get base power +3, and then you gain another 33 entangled life, and then you do another billion damage over here, doing 248%. That gets ×2 over here. So you can do a bunch of crazy shit with this character, with this E.G.O, and so this is the shield comp for Ryōshū essentially. You slap Ryōshū here, you give her these 2 E.G.Os, and you go absolutely nuts, and you yourself fuel your E.G.Os. And then you get more actions, then you fuel those E.G.Os even better, right? After a certain point in time, you can also forget about the E.G.Os. Just press the win rate button and you are already autopilot the character. The E.G.O is just for squeezing out even more damage or squeezing out the E.G.O just to go and nuke the enemies. Ryōshū is a one-man army character. That's how she's intended to be built, right? You can also slot her into any other team. So your Lust team, your Bleed team, just slot her in as an Unga Bunga character. Just high damage output and does a lot of good damage. But she will never reach the heights of her power, right? She takes very, very long if she's solo, without the nurse fathers feeding her extra actions, without her able to go and get more base power, without her able to go and get certain things activated, right? So she will lose a lot of power, but she still is very, very Unga Bunga-ish, alright? Can slot her into a poise team if you want, but she doesn't really need poise, and poise has no innate synergies with each other anyway, so it's probably the weakest of the possible teams. And for the burn team she would really just be an Unga Bunga character, as the burn team's main mechanic is really just using the Bullet Otis to go and apply the burn and then do a lot of proc damage with the burn so far, right? There's nothing much crazy about the burn gang as of now compared to the full power of Ryōshū once you have done the Mountain of Corpses strategy over here, right? Because if you look at Ryōshū, again, last check, alright, she really needs to get those extra actions. She really needs to kill her allies in order to get bonuses. And so if you lose those powers, you will only be able to really get the space-time after image, which is very helpful, right? And then you get the Tihui Star mechanic, which will let you activate your skill 3-2 quite frequently, but not super frequently. And also, you don't have your reuse coin, so it's not going to be that crazy. She'll just be regular Unga Bunga, right? She won't have the crazy extra 4 coins here. That's why she's not going to be that stupidly broken, right? So that's how this character is designed for, and that's her team comp. I highly recommend everyone try it because it's probably the most fun you'll ever have, and it's the strongest ID as of now besides Mao Ryōshū and even Rien Yisang. Hell, Rien Yisang is just fodder for this character. Just eat it, right? Because do you want to use Furioso one time in an encounter, or do you want to use multiple reuse coin attacks every single time? That's literally the trade-off here. If you feed Rien Yisang here, you are getting way more skill trees than this one over here, right? So the payoff is way better. I think that this is just straight up the best team that you can possibly do here, right? So that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks for watching. Good luck if you're going to be pulling for her, because you cannot resist to wait. But I would highly recommend trying to wait so that you can save the Lunacy for pulling Walpurgis banner, or saving it for another limited collab banner in the future. Who knows? Right, so that's it guys. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Bye bye.